I'm going to give you guys the exact presentation that I used to win this belt right here at the Collective Genius Mastermind. So I spoke about vaximizing. Now, this isn't about vaccines or anything like that. This is actually about maximizing your VA's potential. Now, a lot of people use VAs, right? How many of you guys use VAs? A lot of people out there use virtual assistants, and you've had a lot of different experiences with them. Sometimes they've been like really awesome and really good, and you've enjoyed working with them. And let's be honest, sometimes like it's really hard because some VAs aren't very reliable. You can't find good ones. They don't have good English. You don't really know what's going on with them or what they're doing. And it just can be frustrating sometimes. And that just makes it really hard, especially when you're trying to hire somebody to work for your company. So I'm going to give you guys the framework and the formula that I use to hire, fire, train, and even optimize virtual assistants using AI. How do we find our virtual assistant? When it comes to finding good VAs, I used a really cool process that I learned from my friend Kevin Ramirez in the Collective Genius Mastermind, which is by far one of the best real estate masterminds that you could possibly be in. One of the guys gave a presentation, and in that presentation, he talked about how he found his VAs. So I adopted that. What I did was I actually went onto virtual assistant Facebook groups, a bunch of different ones. And if you go down below in the comments, I actually have a document that you can go to, and it's got links to all the different Facebook groups that I used, and it's got a link to the template that I used. So I used a template that looks like this. And in that template, it just talks about the fact that I'm an established company. I'm looking for somebody that can speak fluid English, and these are the parameters and what I will pay people. Then what I did was I had them fill out a questionnaire. I also have that questionnaire in there that you can use as well. I had them fill out that questionnaire and then submit me a video. And I had them submit it with an app called SendSpark. And in that, I received that. Some of them sent me links to a video that they had in their Google Drive. I wanted to vet them out and see what their English was like. I was hiring callers and texters, and I wanted to hear how good their English was. And so I listened. I had about 63 people in the first 2 days. I vetted all of them. I read about all of their bios. I read all the stuff that they had done. I watched their videos, and then I began interviewing them. So from the interview process, I hired them based off of our company's core values. So I walked them through our core values, which you can see right here. These are our 6 core values that we hire, we fire, we train, and no matter what other type of business model we start or venture we start, everything is based off of these core values. And one of the major things that we do is make sure that everybody's moving towards a central and consistent vision and plan. That's really important for us. So for our VA company, CoreTech VAs, for us, by the end of the year, we want to help and serve 100 different companies by utilizing virtual assistants hired, fired, and trained based off of core values and enhanced and optimized with artificial intelligence. So core values, tech, the AI tech advancement part of our VA company. And so that's what we do, and that's what the mission and the vision behind all of the VAs that work for us. And then for my Pure Flare homes and Pure Flare Capital, the VAs know and understand the long-term BHAG. If you've ever seen a book called Good to Great by Jim Collins, he talks about this idea of having a BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal. For me and for our company, long-term by 2047, we want to have 1,000 doors in 10 different major cities of affordable housing, because we want to help to transform the Section 8 model, and we want to help to be able to put amazing, amazing mothers with awesome kids into good neighborhoods where they can have a really good opportunity, because I believe that the world equally distributes talent, but it does not equally distribute opportunity. And so for us to be able to help people to have that opportunity is a huge goal for us. And it reminds me of when JFK was walking through NASA in, I think it was like sometime in the 1960s, and they were planning on putting a man on the moon. He ran into a janitor and he said, "Excuse me, sir, what do you do here at NASA?" And that janitor says, "I mop floors so we could put a man on the moon." And so for us, we know, all of our VAs know that our purpose is bigger than just making money. Our purpose is to make a change. They know it's to transform 10,000 lives in America, or it's to transform somebody's business. One of the great things that I've learned about a lot of virtual assistants, as well as just anybody from foreign countries, it's different than America. So they're driven, and their identity is primarily based on what they believe. If you go to somebody in America and you go, hey sir, tell me about yourself. One of the very first things they would say is, well, I'm a banker, or I'm an attorney, and I do this, this, and that. But if you go to somebody in a different country, especially like a Middle Eastern country, one of the first things that they'll say is they'll first reference their religion and their religious beliefs, and then they'll talk about their family. Because at the core of who they are and their identity, it's wrapped around their purpose. It's wrapped around who they are. And that's generally has to do with their religion and their family. So what we've done is we've given them a purpose to pursue, not just a price to try to make, right? Like they know that they want to make money. They know they don't want to do these things, but to have a purpose that they can pursue is significantly more important to them than anything. And so we want to give them a purpose, a strong purpose. That's where it's rooted in the core values. Because at the core of who we are, we want two things. We want to be known and we want to feel valued. So I want to know their purpose. I want to make them feel valued. And what's great is that like they're living out and accomplishing things based on their purpose. There's this quote that I absolutely love by Maya Angelou, and it says, "People will forget what you do. They'll forget what you say, but they'll never forget how you made them feel." And for us, we make them feel extremely valued, and I'm so thankful for them. Another quote that I absolutely love by Peter Drucker, he says, "Culture eats strategy for breakfast." Now, while strategy is important, don't get me wrong, culture is even more important. To create a culture around something that's bigger than ourselves, it creates an incredible amount of loyalty. But then what it also does is it automatically instills this idea of being better because they're pursuing a purpose. And so it's really cool to see this like automatic implementation of accountability based and driven around values and a purpose. And so they'll hold each other accountable. We hold each other accountable. They push each other to be the best versions of themselves because the culture that we've created encourages that. And so what we also do is, because they're virtual assistants, there are a good amount of them. There's a lot of people looking for work, and we are able to hire a bunch of them. And so what we do is we hire fast, we fire faster. And we do that because we want to see if people will be a good culture fit for us. We typically put them on a 30-day probationary period. And if it doesn't work, we let them know up front. The expectations are managed. We communicate extremely well about this. And we say, hey, at any point you can go. And at any point we may feel like this doesn't work. And then we break this off, and that's okay. We monitor their KPIs, and then we have high accountability with them. And then if they end up passing that 30-day, then we give them $1 raise. And so they're incentivized to be able to work really hard because $1 is a good amount for them to make more an hour. And one of the biggest things that we talk about is expect what you inspect. If you don't inspect what they're doing, if you don't inspect how they're getting it done, then you can expect it to not go as well or go like you want it to go. Hey, make sure that you expect what you inspect. And all of this has created an incredibly loyal, incredibly hardworking, high accountability, and amazing staff of virtual assistants for us. I'll tell you a quick story. A little while ago, we were going through a really hard time. It was hard for us to catch a break. We were living deal by deal, and we got to a point where I went to all of them and I said, hey guys, I can't pay you anymore. I'm gonna have to let you go. I was literally going to lay off all of them because I couldn't pay them in that next payroll. They gathered together, and then they came back to me and they said, Devin, it doesn't matter. We want to be with you until you figure this thing out. We want to help you and help push this business forward because we believe in it and we believe in you. And we want to help until you figure this thing out. And so about 3 weeks later, we figured it out and I was able to pay them. And it was just a huge testament to the culture we created, to the loyalty they have. And they're all geniuses. Like, I'm excited to tell you about each and every one of them. One of my favorite things that we do is we actually maximize everything that each of our VAs do with artificial intelligence. I've got a huge list of the AI softwares that we use down below. So if you want to click on that, you can see the ones we use to maximize our team, but I absolutely love them. They use Midjourney. They do all types of stuff, and Midjourney is incredible. Here's some of the crazy artwork that they've created for Midjourney, and it's been really cool to see them thrive and utilize AI to make their jobs a lot more effective and efficient. So when a company hires us and uses our VAs to serve them, they're already utilizing a ton of artificial intelligence to make what they do more efficient. So I want to run through a couple of our VAs really quickly because they're awesome. So our very first one, now this is one that I went through that whole process. He was on my first sheet. I remember him in green highlighted because I wanted to hire this guy, but he ended up quickly like rising through the ranks. Ahmed is awesome, extremely loyal, super dedicated, really a player that grows at a high level. And so he actually now is the director of first impressions, and he actually runs kind of the VA staffing side of CoreTech VAs and of pretty much all of my companies. He hires, he fires, he trains them, he holds them accountable. I haven't had to vet or look through a VA in a long time. He's interviewed them. He's done all of that stuff. And it's really cool to be able to give him that role and for him to feel really valued in that, because he deserves it. He's highly capable and probably better than most people in America that I've hired. We actually only get all of our VAs from Egypt. And so they all know each other really well. And we only get from Egypt because Egypt is a very big tourist company. I think if you're going to get VAs, get them from like tourist cities, because their English is already really good because they've grown up learning English, and they're really, really smart. Ehab is amazing. Ehab is actually Ahmed's brother. Ehab was a cold caller, and then I moved him over to running IT for us. And so he actually built out a lot of the Salesforce stuff that we use. And if you know anything about Salesforce, it's super robust. And so I was like, hey, instead of honestly us spending $5,000, $10,000 on having somebody from Salesforce build something out for us, I was like, hey, I'll pay you $2 more an hour to do this. And he was like, done. And it was really, really cool. And he's dedicated a lot of time to it and has really soared in that area. And it was incredible. And the next person here, Amr, I love Amr. Amr he runs the whole like marketing strategy and strategy voice side of things. He started out as a cold caller, but then quickly jumped into Donald Miller's story brand, building a story brand, business made simple, marketing made simple, and has now built out all of the copywriting, built out all of the strategic voice and all of that stuff for our companies as well as other people that hire us. And it's so cool to see how he's grown, how he loves to do that, and how he can implement that and help other people. And when I gave this presentation, Amr used AI, like an AI tool, to create slideshows or to create presentations, and created my whole CG presentation. It was awesome. So one of the things that I've done with all of the VAs is I have elevated and given them the opportunity to grow into what they love. I may have hired them for one thing, but then as I learned what they love, I also enabled them to grow in that. I bought them courses like full-time filmmaker, business made simple, copywriting courses, Facebook ads courses, like masterclass, all of that stuff, so they can learn and grow into what they love. And then that's given them this huge fire and this vigor to be able to do that at a high level. And it's been really cool to enable them in that way. Like Ahmed here. Ahmed started out as a cold caller, absolutely loves video editing. Actually came to me, started out as a cold caller, came to me and was like, hey, I think I would like to try some video editing. I got him full-time filmmaker, loved it, took off. Now he creates all of our content and he runs the whole like editing and video processing side of our VA service. All of the TikTok videos, YouTube videos, all of that stuff created by him and his team. Incredible. And if I'm honest, instead of paying a lot of money for somebody stateside, I initially paid him $2 more an hour than what he was originally at. And so it wasn't a huge risk for me to invest into him to being the best version of himself. It was awesome. Now, one of my favorite things to do is they're all in Egypt. So I'll actually, when we're doing really well or when we're doing well, I actually will send them some money and go, hey guys, go out to the Disney of Egypt or wherever and just go have fun together, because they all live in the same area. They've got this really cool camaraderie and they hang out and they do things outside of work. And it's really fun to be able to do that. And it's significantly cheaper for me to have them go do something out there than to pay for some sort of like culture retreat or thing here in the States. And so I absolutely love it. And that's how we create insane loyalty with high accountability and how we maximize our VAs. Now, remember, I've got a Google Sheet down below that if you just go ahead and opt in there to the email, you can actually grab that sheet and it's got cold callers and texters. You guys can have that. The other one is a lot of the AI that I use. If you are interested in the AI that we use and the different ways that we maximize our VA potential, you can opt in to get that one as well. Of course, it's going to get you an email address and then I'm going to say, hey, would you be interested in using us? But you'll at least get those things for free. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, share it with somebody, because we want people to be able to maximize their VA potential, because I hear too many people complain about VAs being untrustworthy, unreliable, not really meeting the expectations that they had for them. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. I hope you have an amazing day. Peace.